finally going to sleep.
Welcome back. Another dad life video for you today, and we're actually down in my Schill Brothers Outdoors studio. Everyone's having a great time.
Kinda. My head's poking out of the foot box right now because it's freaking freezing.
As if this couldn't get any worse. A, it started raining. B, both my trekking poles broke.
Oh my god.
If you're interested in hiking, backpacking, generally outdoorsy related things, make sure you check out my other channel, Schill Brothers Outdoors. I do it with my brother. On that other channel, I do review a lot of equipment, a lot of backpacking equipment. So today we are going to review the Eufy video baby monitor, the 720p edition of it. Going to talk about what I like, what I don't like. I'm going to give you an overview of the whole UI and how you use it, and show you the cameras and all things baby monitors. My daughter now is just about a month old, so I've been using this thing for a month straight, every day, multiple hours a day. Before I go into what I like, what I don't like, my opinions on it, let's jump down into the camera and I'll show you guys, how to use it, various different modes. I'll give you kind of a tutorial on what this thing's all about.
All right, so let's just kind of go through the interface and how this kind of works. So I'll kind of walk through, all the menu things and then show you the cameras themselves. And there she is sleeping away. So first, it's a pretty nice screen. It's only 720p. It actually looks pretty good for 720p. And then as far as, buttons, it's really just volume up, volume down, and the power button. And that's it. And then you've got a couple things here. So this is how you talk through the camera. So you just hold this down and talk through it. And then this here is, you can use these buttons like this to move the camera around. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know how useful it is. I mean, it's useful, but pretty cool function. And this middle button will swap. Now I've got both cameras set up next to each other, and one's got the wide angle. So this is a wide angle, and then this is the regular. And then the menu button, and I'm gonna briefly walk through this. So and it's kind of nice. You get temperature. I kind of like that. And then it'll tell you, camera 1 or camera 2. So, and like I said, the difference between these two is this has the wide angle lens, and this is, non-wide angle, so zoomed in. And I like the wide angle. So let's just walk through this. So first, you got your brightness, pretty self-explanatory. So voice operated exchange means when they make noises, it'll trigger the cameras. Once again, sound alerts, that kind of stuff. So you got voice and sound alerts. You can have it play music, and this is kind of cool. You can do digital zoom. So if I zoom in a little bit, zoom in again. It's pretty cool, actually. It's got a digital zoom. And then we've got, if you need to add cameras to this, one thing you can do, which I have turned off, is you can just have the cameras cycle. So that's what that little cycle thing is. I like to be able to switch manually to them, but if you had cycle camera on and you just let it be, it would just, like a security camera in a mall, it would just cycle between the two cameras. And then you've got more stuff here. So night vision mode, it actually works really well. I'll show you guys what the night vision looks like right about now. So there you have night mode. Look, it's good. I mean, it's pretty good. So yeah, the night vision works pretty well. And then obviously you can set the time, you can set the sleep mode. So one thing I do, and it drains the battery more, but when I'm using this thing, I want to have the screen on all the time. So normally it will not do that. Normally the screen will time out, and every couple minutes you gotta turn it back on manually. So I have it so it never goes to sleep. What else is down here? So anti-screen flicker, I've never really messed with that. Language, and then temperature, etc. So from that menu thing, it's got everything you need to. It would be cool if this was a touchscreen, where you could do stuff, but overall it's pretty good. Also, here's a shot of the actual camera itself. So it's just like a black little orb, and you can see it's got the USB right there, and then that button on the right is to pair the cameras. And then one thing that's nice is it's got this rubber grippy thing on the bottom, so it really does stay there. And then it's kind of hard to see, but right there is the camera. So it'll move, you can see it can move up and down right here, You can see those lines right there. It can move like that, and then it can move side to side too. But that's what they look like. Also, I totally forgot to mention this, but on the back here, right here, that's actually the antenna. So that helps with range when you got that up like that.
As you can see, it's a pretty slick device. So let's talk about what I like about it. So first, not specific to this monitor, but I really like having a baby monitor. Oh my God, game changer. I know I said it before. I do like the display. I really do think for a 720p camera, it's actually pretty good. Now, I'm a bit of a camera nerd. I have 2 YouTube channels. I would prefer it to be 1080p and let's go nuts and go 4K. No, but honestly, for a 720p display, I really do think it looks good. And I do like the orientation of the screen and the fact they've got the temperature on there, all that stuff, and an indicator for how loud the sound is coming out of it. I think that they nailed the display. One other thing that's not specific to this camera, and something I was kind of like, I didn't know if I'd like or dislike it, but I actually really do like the fact that these are not hooked up to the Wi-Fi for a couple of reasons. One, it's just a simpler solution. You don't have to worry about, oh, my Wi-Fi network changed, all that stuff. You can travel easily with it. You could use them in the car if you wanted to. I was kind of on the fence. There's a trade-off to that, and the trade-off is I can't access these cameras anywhere from my phone, but I do like a non-Wi-Fi camera. And then there's the whole security issue that doesn't bother me as much as other people. I'm not worried about people hacking my cameras, but it makes using this thing, setting it up, and the portability aspects, so the fact that we can travel somewhere and not have to worry about if there's a Wi-Fi network or something, I do like the non-Wi-Fi camera, and I probably would recommend that. Also, one thing I really like is I think both the audio quality that comes out of this, now my baby's sleeping right now, so you can't hear it, but the audio quality that comes out of this is very good and it's very loud. So obviously you can adjust the sound that comes out of this, but it's loud. A big pro to this camera, and I was actually blown away by this, is it is so easy to set up. There's no setup. This is the first piece of electronics equipment I've ever owned where I literally took it out of the box, plugged the stuff in, turned on the monitor, and everything worked. Zero setup. I didn't have to make an account. I didn't have to sync my cameras to this thing. I didn't have to do anything. So out of the box, this thing is working flawlessly. The fact that this camera system comes with 2 types of lenses right out the bat is a big winner for me as well. So as you kind of saw earlier, you can screw on a wide angle lens onto this, and you kind of saw the difference between the 2 lenses. I use the wide angle lens as my default, but it's pretty cool that that's adaptable, and you can have 2 cameras, and you can have one camera be wide angle and one camera be more of a zoomed in look. But I thought it was really cool that it came with a wide angle lens, and I was like, I'm immediately putting this on. And the installation of the wide angle lens is like a joke. It's so easy. You literally just screw it onto the front of the camera and it's there. It's kind of like, you can get little wide angle lenses for cell phones that kind of screw onto a case. It's kind of like that. Very cool. And I highly recommend the wide angle. You're going to get a better field of view. And it's very cool that these cameras are adaptable and you can interplay lenses like that. A little thing I think is actually pretty cool, and something that we have found does impact the screaming level of the baby, is these cameras have temperature sensors in them. So I can tell the ambient temperature in the room. We have found that the baby reacts differently to different temperatures, and that's been helpful for us to easily see the temperature of the room she's in and know, hey, do we need to screw with the air or something like that? So a little thing that super easy for them to implement, and I was like, oh cool, it has temperature on the screen, but that's actually been useful, and I like that that's included. Lastly, as you saw earlier, I think the low light for this camera is really good. So using it overnight, once your baby's sleep trained, we're not there yet. Using it while they sleep will be perfect. I've tested out the low light. I've had it in the room with her with the lights off. The low light and the night vision on these cameras work really well. Obviously much better than a cell phone, probably better than my Wi-Fi cameras, to be honest with you, because, Low light capability is something that needs to be in a baby monitor. So I thought they did a really good job with both the low light sensitivity and the night vision sensitivity of these cameras. That was what I like. Let's talk about what I necessarily don't like about this camera. And the first thing I'll say is, so I'm in my basement right now. Even with this antenna up, it struggles to hit the camera on the second floor. Now, right now, our baby is not sleeping in their bedroom. They're sleeping on the first floor or in our bedroom. So it's not a huge deal, but I'm in my basement now and I don't have a huge house. You know, my house is very skinny and tall. That might be why. But when I'm down in the basement and I kind of like tried to test the range when I go out to my garage, not that I necessarily need the baby monitor from my garage, but I do lose signal a little bit. And when you lose signal with this thing, it makes the most annoying beeping sound. It's good that it does that. It's like a safety standard, but I do have a minute range issues with it. I don't think that's going to be a problem for most people. You know what I do is I moved the Wi-Fi camera in there so I didn't have to worry about it. But yeah, if I'm in my basement and I have a camera all the way up on the second floor, now granted, I'm on opposite ends of my house. So I'm here in my basement, second floor right up here. So the furthest possible distance I could be, and it will struggle to maintain connection sometimes. One of the ways I use this camera is I always keep the screen on. Out of the box, it'll come with a timer to where the actual screen will shut off after, you know, X amount of seconds that you designate. I always keep the screen on. I'm just like, I don't know why I wouldn't do that, but if you have the screen on, obviously it drains battery a lot faster. I haven't touched on battery life. I have used this a lot. We generally charge it every day, so I've never had any issues with battery life. That's not a dislike, but if you have to have the screen on all the time, you will kill this battery. And the longest I've ran this consecutively with the screen on was about 4 hours, and it killed about half to 3/4 of the battery. I think that's pretty good, honestly. You can always just use it plugged in, but it would be nice if you could just have it on and leave it there for, you know, 8 hours and not have to worry about charging it. That's not going to be the case. It's not a huge drawback. Just plug it in. Lastly, it would have been cool if they would have made this a touchscreen. That's just like a techie thing. You know, I realize it would cost more and it might not be super functional, but like, you know, these cameras can digital zoom. So if I could pinch to zoom, or if I could change things by tapping on the screen, that would have been kind of cool. Okay, that is it. That is a quick little review, what I liked, what I didn't like, and a kind of overview on how you use this. Overall, I would definitely recommend this. I don't know if 2 cameras is necessary. It's certainly not necessary for us right now. When she gets older and maybe we have her napping somewhere else during the day, maybe 2 cameras would be more useful. If we had more than 1 kid, obviously 2 cameras would be useful. But for us, 2 cameras are not needed. So, and for most people that just have 1 kid, 2 cameras might not be needed. So, you know, play with that. But overall, I would recommend this. I have had no real issues with it. I loved how easy it was to use. There was no setup. And I really do think the for 720p, this looks good. So that's it for this gear review. It's a little different going from reviewing, you know, tents, sleeping bags to reviewing baby stuff, but that's all good. You know, I'm hoping that this review helps people make more informed decisions. And yeah, overall, check out Eufy. They make a good product. If you like this video, if you like this channel, consider subscribing. If not, all good. And then if you're into some serious outdoorsy stuff, check out my other channel. All right, that's it. Peace out, dads.
Mary, do you even care about this baby yet? You've shown no interest in her. I guess that's maybe a good thing. Oh, you're showing more interest in the baby monitor than you've ever shown in your sister. What kind of brother is that, Murray? Come on.